All right, so that was written from yesterday. Number 1, first of all, is it a maximum or a minimum?
Minimum. Maximum.
A maximum, sorry, we just started. Okay, so it's a maximum because you would be at the top of it. Okay, think max, you could be at the top of it. And then you want to know where is the top of it. Okay, so it is over 1 and down 1. So which one says a maximum that is 1, -1? C. Okay, so this is a maximum because you're at the top of it. Now tomorrow it could be the opposite. Okay, I don't know. It just kind of just depends on, there it is, on the test program, on what it does. Is everybody okay with that one? Yes. All right. Number 2, it says which one's widest to narrowest. All right. Well, one thing you can do is just graph them all and look at them. Is that what y'all did, or did y'all just remember the rule? You got A. Okay, well, let's just graph them. I'm going to put 3x squared first. Then I'm going to put x squared. And then I'm going to put 5x squared. And I'm looking for the widest to the narrowest. And it's going to graph them in that order. Okay? There's my 3x squared, x squared, 5x squared. Which one's the widest?
X squared.
The x squared. Okay, so now we kind of know what order to go in. The smallest one, so it's the 1x squared, the 3x squared, then the 5x squared. So it is A.
Those are my beta hours.
Thank you.
There's 2 that I need you to
Sign. Okay, I'll sign them.
Thank you.
All right, everybody good with that one? So you can kind of just remember the widest is actually the smaller number, or just graph it. Are we good with this? Yes? Okay. Number 3 says, how is this graph different from the 4x squared? Well, what's different about it? First of all, what number's different? That -2. So where does that take us?
2 units down.
2 units down. If you don't know that, graph them and see what happens. Okay, say we don't know, if we forget, although y'all don't need to forget that, it's just down 2. Graph 4x squared, and then graph that 4x squared -2. Okay, and let's see what happens. There it is, and then it went down 2. You can just tell. Okay, so it shifted 2 units down. There's number 3. Are we good so far? Yeah? All right, number 4, it says you have this object and it's dropped. When does it hit the ground? So again, I'm going to graph. I go to y equals -16x squared plus 400. All right? Now, I am not going to see the whole thing. Here you go, Shay. This is... All right, all that matters on my graph, way up here at 400, I'm only up at 10. So way up here at 400, the object is dropped and boom, right here is where it hits the ground. So we can actually just count and see when does it hit the ground? 1, 2, 3, 4, at 5. What does that mean?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Okay, or you can actually calculate it on the calculator, but since we have these answer choices, we can tell which one's it going to be. It's going to be the 5 seconds. Are y'all okay with that one? Yeah? All right, now, still graphing on the calculator. It says, graph this quadratic equation. So I'm going to type in -2x squared. Y'all, I have one more calculator. Does anybody need one? You want to borrow one? Here. So this is, I just typed in y equals -2x squared. You're welcome. All right, is everybody good with that? So I need to draw this picture on my graph, and I must have 3 points to get full credit. Okay, I'm not going to just be allowed to do this right here. It looks like that right there. That is no points on my graph, okay? I won't accept that. It looks like it, but I don't see any points because that's how I grade it. So to get those points, you press table. So we're going to press second graph. That's that table button. Oh, sorry. Somebody borrowed my calculator yesterday. Wrong way. because I don't want those points. Okay, here's several points. All right, so I'm going to start with 0, 0, because that one looked like it was in the middle. Is everybody okay with that? And then the 2 points around it are the -2's. So -1, -2, and then over 1, down 2. Okay, now let me look at my graph. Is that going to look like the same shape? It does. So I'll just kind of draw it. Now what it looks like from there, you don't have to be perfect. See how I see those 3 points on that? That's what I'll be looking for. What are those 3 ordered pair? Okay? And you have to have that curve. All right? Are we good with that? Yes, maybe? I guess so. All right. Y'all, if I go too fast, say something. All right, this one has 3 parts. Okay, so there are several different points here. You are going to graph it. You are going to tell the vertex. You are going to tell the axis of symmetry on both of these problems. So there's 3 different things going on. So let me graph it. X squared plus 2x minus 1. And I'll press graph. Can anybody tell me where the vertex looks like it's at on this graph? Like, it looks like it's right here. Does everybody agree with that? Okay, so that's what I'm going to look for in just a second. Let me go ahead and graph it, though. All right? So I'll go to my table. And where does it repeat? Does everybody see where it repeats right here on my table? So those are the 3 points I'm going to use. The -1, -2, -1. So I'll go -2, -1. Then I'll go over -1, -2. Left 1, down 2. And then I have 0, -1. Over 0, down 1. So here's my graph. Okay, it's supposed to be kind of rounded. That's part of my answer. Now, I think I can tell what my vertex is. What point is it? It's the one where it's in between the repeat. It's -1, -2. Doesn't that look like that's where, right here, where it kind of turns around? Okay, that's your vertex. So I would put -1, -2. Your axis of symmetry is just the x value. What's the x value? Which one's the x value? The -1. So you would just put axis of symmetry is -1. They normally put x equals -1. All that means is this right here is where it's symmetrical. You don't have to draw that, but that's the axis of symmetry at -1. That's where it looks like it's a mirror. Okay? Another way, if you're not sure how to get that point, because one of these may be a decimal on your test tomorrow, but it's -b over 2a. So what is -b? Do y'all remember this? That's a little formula. Some of you, it's been a long time. So it's negative, that's your b. Remember, it's a, b, c. So yeah, it's -2 over 2 times, what's your a? An understood, well, what's that number in front of it?
1.
An understood 1. So we get -2 divided by 2.
1.
-1. So that's what our axis of symmetry is. That's just another way to find it. You don't have to do that part, okay? I've got another one of these, so we'll do this one and have a little more practice. Okay, let's graph this one. So we have 3x squared minus 3x minus 1. And, oops, that little point there. Press graph. So the first thing I'll do is just do second table and try and find, where does it repeat? Right here. Do y'all see that? Usually there's a number in between. So that means, and there's one like this on your test, that means my vertex must be a decimal. Does that make sense? What number is between these two? Okay, is what we're thinking, huh? So we'll just see. So I'm going to go, I'll pick over 0, down 1. Then over 1, down 1. But I need more than 2 points. So let me pick some more. I'll do -1, 5. And then I'll do 2, 5. Over 2 and up 5. All right, so it looks like it's going to be something like this. Are we okay with that? I don't really know how far down it goes. I'm going to have to find that. But if you have trouble with the vertex and axis of symmetry, at least you can get half your credit here, all right, by just graphing. Now, what do y'all think the axis of symmetry is? What number do you think it's in the middle of the graph? What number is right here? I'm betting it's 0.5. But remember, the way to see is -b over 2a. So that's negative, and what's this b? What's right here? -3 over 2 times, what's a? 3. So what's -3? What's the opposite of -3?
3.
Yeah, +3 over 6. And what is 3 over 6? Yeah, 1/2, or x is 0.5. Okay? Now, I'm trying to think of how I told y'all to find the other part. I believe what you'll have to do... Oh, actually, what the best way to do it? This is how I told y'all to do it. Okay, it took me a second. Another easy way to find the vertex is this a maximum or a minimum? A minimum. You can just press second trace, minimum, and let your calculator do all that work. That's much easier. I forgot I showed y'all this way. So this is what you do. This right here is where I'm trying to find. So this says go to the left. So I go to the left a few times and press enter. Then what does it tell me to do? Go to the right a few times and press enter. And then it says that means go back to it. And what does it tell me my answer is? 0.5, and what's my y value? -1.75. So that might be an easier way. You don't even have to do any of that work, okay? You would just find your minimum. And here's, oh, I didn't mean that is your vertex axis of symmetry, okay? Do I need to show y'all that one more time? That's probably the easiest way to do that whole problem. I know, are y'all warm in here? No? It's just the x value, yeah. So it's like just rewriting something. All the axis of symmetry. I won't put it on too cold, but it feels a little warm. It's like stuffy in here.
What's the vertex?
So the vertex, we said it's a minimum, and it's that ordered pair. We found it. We just used our calculator, and it told us the vertex. Then the vertex is both of those numbers, x comma y. The axis of symmetry is just the x value, okay? So remember, on one of your problems, I think on your test it's just one of them has a decimal, I believe. I'll tell you that again on Friday, if that's right. Everybody okay with that? Yes? Okay. Now on this one, all it wants to know is, do these two things, these are two different problems, do they have the same vertex? Okay? So this one looks like it's over 1/2 and up 1 or something like that. I don't know. Let me just graph this one and see if they look the same. X squared minus 6x plus 4. Do those have the same vertex? No. This one looks like it's over 1/2 and up 1. This one looks like it's over 3 and down. I don't know how many. That is not the same. Okay? They don't have the same vertex. So we would just put no. All right, this one says we have a ball that's thrown in the air, and then it says how long does it take to get the maximum height, and then what is the maximum height? What word was just used for both of those things? Max. Okay, so I'm going to graph and find the max. Negative 16x squared plus 32x plus 6. Now, I don't know if we'll see the whole thing or not. We don't. If you have problems with this on Friday, just come ask me, to help you with the window. But I have this parabola, that's what that shape is called, and I can't see the top of it, so I need to go up more, right? So what I would do is I would go to my window. Your x values take you left and right, and your y values take you up and down. So we're going to change this one, the y max. I don't know. I'm just going to put 50 and see what happens. Oh, that was plenty. I probably could have put 25. Okay? Everybody good with that? Now what do I do? Find the maximum. How do I find the maximum? Second trace, and then I'm going to go to number 4. Okay, this right here, that tip-top point, that's the maximum. Where does it tell me to go? To the left, press enter. To the right a few times, press enter. And back to it. So, which one is the time? The x or the y value?
X.
Yeah, so that looks like, what is 0.99999? It's 1. Okay, so my time is 1 second. And how high does it get? 22 feet. So in 1 second, it's 22 feet. Is there the same answer there? Okay, then you just pick either one. That happens sometimes on this test program. Okay. This one gives us an equation as well. It asks the same thing. How long does it take and what's the height? So what are we going to do? We're just going to type it in our calculator. Negative 16, press y equals. Negative 16x squared, it's always that, plus 116x plus 30. Oops, I meant to do this. I messed up. Okay, let me make sure I type the right thing. All right, so if I graph it, all right, so it looks like it came up, it's still going up, and then it came back down.
I'm going to have to go over 100.
All right, I'm going to have to go up, right? So, okay, so we'll try 100. So I go to my window.
It's over 100. I just tried it.
I went to 270.
You went to 270. Oh, and you said it's over 100. Okay, I see what you're saying. So how about I'll do 300, okay? If I didn't know that, look, if you don't know that, watch. Just let me try 100. And that's why he's saying you still don't see the top, but you're getting close. So let me just try 250. And, oh, I do see the top at 250. Okay, that's what you're looking for. What is that top, the maximum? So now we're good to press second trace, number 4. And here is the tip top. So what do we do to find it? We go to the left, press enter, go to the right of it and press enter, and back to the tip top. So what is the time? It looks like 3.63, what does it say, to the nearest hundredth? So 3.63 seconds. And what's the height that it goes? Yeah, 240.25 feet. Here we go. It told me to go out 2 decimal places. That's why I did 2. What are we, halfway done, I think? How many are there? 20? Okay. All right, number 11. All right, what are the 2 solutions? Do y'all want to just graph it? Is that what y'all would pick? Okay, we'll just graph this one. So I'm going to do x squared minus 4. And I'm going to press zoom 6 because my window is all crazy. And which one matches it? Can you tell which one matches it? It looks like it could be B and it looks like it could be C, right? But look, they have two different answers. Where does it look like it's crossing? At 2 and -2. Does everybody see that? That's why it's this one. Okay? And we can tell it kind of goes down 4. This one goes down to -4. That one does not make it down there at -4. Okay? Now this one you can also solve by graphing, but another way to do it is using some algebra. But yes, you can solve by graphing. How do you solve for x? How do you get x by itself? We will square root in a second, but what do I do with that 81? I add it over. So watch. So I get x squared equals 81. Now it tells you how to solve it. What are you going to have to do? Square root it. What is the square root of 81? 9, and it's also
X squared is equal to 9.
it's also -9, because what's -9 squared? 81, and 9 squared is 81. So there's two answers. It's the same as the problem above it. If you wanted to graph it though, x squared minus 81, doesn't it look like it's crossing at 9 and -9? So that's another way to check your answer. Okay, that's just what you're trying to see. All right, number 13. 13's the same thing. I'm going to write it up here. But first I need to move the 127. How do I move it? Add it over. So 4x squared equals 196. Then what do? How do you solve for x? Divide by 4. So x squared equals 49. So what are y'all's two answers? If you take the square root of 49, they are, what is it? What's the square root of 49? 7. So 7 and -7. Okay.
How'd you get 49?
We moved the 127 over here, then we divided it by 4. And 196 divided by 4 was 49. So I get x squared equals 49. So my two answers are 7 and -7. Okay. Number 14, what can y'all tell me the two answers without doing anything? -2, +8. Okay? -2, +8. In case you're wondering how we got that, you just set both of those things equal to 0. And if you solved them, they just become the opposite. So you would subtract 2 and add 8. Okay, that's how we got those two. Or you'll just know it's the opposite. Oh, that's a -2, that's an 8. All right, like this one, some of y'all may know the little shortcut, it would be -12 divided by 3. +6 divided by 6. I don't know if y'all know that. That was the shortcut. Did I teach y'all that? Maybe not. If there's a number out here, you divide by it. But just set them both equal to 0. 3x plus 12 equals 0. What's the other one? 6x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, how do you solve this one? Subtract 12. Then what? Divide by 3. So we get -4. What do we do on this one? Or it is -6, so we add 6. And then what? Divide by 6. So we get -4 and 1.
D.
Mm-hmm. Okay, on the first one, on this section, let's see, I would,
Tell me something you need to use.
oh yeah, thank you. Huh? It's just like a spray. That she had some and she was gonna let me borrow some. I was supposed to get it, I think, yesterday.
Yeah,
Out of Lauren's
we all
backpack.
forgot.
Yeah, I did too. Thank you. Okay, so I think the easiest thing to do on this one is factor it. Okay, so if I factor, we put z and z, and what times what is 30?
10, 15 times 2.
Okay, so for 30, we could have 10 and 3, 15 times 2. What's another one? 5 and 6. So what would add to negative 11? 5 and 6, but they both need to be negative. Negative 5 and negative 6. So what are my two answers? Because I have to solve it. Can y'all tell me the two answers? Positive 5, positive 6. Those are my answers. Y'all, you could have also graphed it. X squared minus 11x, oops, wrong thing. Plus 30. And we could figure out, like, you can look at your table and where are my zeros at 5 and 6, okay? Or you can press second trace, number 2. Let's find the little thing. Where is it? There it is. I can find what number that is, okay? I can go to the left of it, press enter, go to the right of it, press enter, and back to it. And what is it? 5. Okay, and then I could do the same thing and find the other one, which was 6. Lots of different ways. I strongly suggest on 17, 18, and 19, let's just graph them and let the calculator do it, okay? So let's go to y equals, what time do we get out here? Okay. I'm going to put 3x squared plus 11x minus 20. And then I press graph. And it looks like my answers are what? What does it look like? Since I have multiple choice, it looks like they're negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 5, okay? And what does this one look like? Some number after 1. What would that answer be? What answer has negative 5 and a little something after 1? C, okay? But if you wanted to find the exact thing, just press second trace, and let's find that 0. Okay, so this is the 0. So I go to the left, enter, the right, enter, and back to it. And it says 1.3 repeated. Well, y'all, that is 1 1/3, okay? Is everybody okay with that one? Maybe a little? Okay, number 18, x squared minus 10x. Let's graph that one. And what two numbers does it look like it's going through here? 0 and what number is that one? Well, 10, positive 10. Okay, you can also look at the table. That's another way. Where are my zeros? There's a 0 at 0. And let's double check. There's a 0 at 10. Okay? Now number 19. Oh, so that one was D. What's wrong with this one? What does it have to be? If I'm trying to find all these zeros, what does it have to be equal to? 0. What's over here, though? A 5. So I need to move it. So I have x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. Now I'm good to go, which you can factor it or graph it. Either way is fine. X squared minus 4x minus 5. Let's graph it. What does it look like my two answers are?
-1.
-1 and 5. a way to check. Let's just go to, we could find the zeros by calculating, or let's see what the zeros are. Oh, there's one at 5. And is the other one at -1? It is. So my two answers, -1 and 5. Our last one. Are we ready? All right, this one, same thing. Let's graph it. 8x squared minus 8x minus 6. Okay, this is clearly some decimals, right? So I'm probably going to need to, I can't look at my table. My table doesn't have decimals. I'm going to need to use that 0 button. So I press second trace, number 2, and we'll find this one first. So I go to the left and press enter, go to the right and press enter, and back to it. And what's that first one? -0.5. What is -0.5? -1/2? Yeah. So it's either this one or this one. Well, what's the other one going to be? What do y'all think it's going to be? I think it's going to be +3/2. But we'll go check it. Oops. Second trace, number 2. I'm looking for that one right there. So I go to the left, the right, and back to it. And it says 1.5, which is what number? 3/2. Okay? And that's all of them. How is that? Turn the air off? Yes. Sorry. All right, are we good with this? Is it going to be terrible? I hope not. I really hope not. I'm going to take the last little bit. What do we have? I'm going to take, let's see, about 15 minutes and just show you EOC math problems, okay? Like, you're done. You don't have to write any of this down. But the math is a little different because it's math on a computer. Zero fun. Math on a computer. So let me... so there's a calculator portion, and then there's a portion that's not a calculator. So I've got a few little problems I'll go through. I'm not going to teach you, I can't get this over there, this test. Okay, I don't believe in teaching the test. I've taught a bunch of algebra, and I'm just going to say, you'll do fine. Okay, I haven't spent all year teaching how to do the test, but you will do fine. But let me show you a sample problem. I've got a few. There it is. Okay. Here's a couple. All right. And I won't go through all of it, but okay, first of all, you probably won't remember some of this. This is from chapter 1. Okay? And it says, is this number rational or irrational? Do y'all even remember what a rational number is and what an irrational number is? No, this goes back to like probably day 4 of this year. Let me see. I think that's the same thing. Sorry. Okay, I'll look for the next problem in a second. All right, so a rational number is a number that ends or it repeats. So like rational numbers are 2, -5, 1.4, 2.3333. See how it's repeating? See how this one ends? Okay, these are all rational numbers. It's like they kind of make sense. We deal with these a lot. Okay. Now, so that's rational. Irrational goes on and on forever. It doesn't end and it doesn't repeat. Like pi. Y'all know how pi goes on and on forever and it doesn't repeat? And then the square root of a number. Not like the square root of 49. What's the square root of 49? 7. So that belongs over here. But if you type the square root of 2 in your calculator, guess what it does? It goes on and on forever. Think of an irrational person. And they're just yapping. right? They're just going on and on and on, okay? So, same thing with the number. Now, what do y'all think? It says, is the number rational or irrational, and then justify your answer. So you're gonna have to type a little bit. So you're gonna say, A, that number, what is that one? 0.44 repeated. It's rational because it repeats. That's what I would say. A is a rational number because it repeats. Then you would say B is what? Irrational because it doesn't end and it doesn't repeat. Okay? That one has actually been on there twice since I've taught here. Okay? So that's one of the types of questions. Then I'm going to move it up some, and I'm going to leave that over here for just a second. You have another one that says, okay, it says, if you have an irrational number, all right, if A and B are, well, A is a non-zero rational number, and B is an irrational number. I might not do that one. What would be a rational number? I think you're going to have to square it. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay, sorry. So I told you the answer. But it says which one of these would be rational? If A is rational and B is irrational. This one's kind of confusing. Y'all, they give partial credit. So say you get the first question right on that, the first part, and the second part wrong, you're still going to get partial credit. Okay, so if you take an irrational number and you make it negative, isn't it still irrational? It's still doing the same thing. It's going on and on. So it's not that one. If I take 2 and I subtract pi or add pi, isn't it still going to be a number that goes on and on and on? Instead of 3.14, it's going to be 5.14159, da da da. So you can't add them. If you multiply them, it's still, like if I did 2 times pi, it's still going to keep going on and on and on. But now, let's take a number and I square it. Like, what is the square root of 2? That's irrational. It goes on and on. What's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? First of all, what's 2 times 2? 4. Okay, so the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. What is the square root of 4? What times what is 4? 2. So I have taken an irrational number and squared it, and it became rational. I wouldn't expect you to remember all that on that one. If I were you, I would just guess. Okay? But the first one y'all should get. Y'all should kind of know your numbers, because I think you learned that in middle school too. Did y'all learn real numbers and rational and irrational? Some of y'all probably have no idea what I'm talking about. It's okay. Just do your best. Let me see if I have another one from this chapter. And I really hope that some of y'all's polynomial stuff will be on there. Oh, there's one. Okay. This one, and be careful. If it says select all that apply, does it mean it's just one answer? It could be, but it could be multiple answers. So all you do on this one, say that you have this right here. This is an X value and this is a Y value. So what do you think you do with those? Plug them in. And you should have scratch paper, okay? So I would put -3 times, what's my X value? -3 plus 6 times 6. What comes next? Plus 5 equals -7. And then what would I do with that? I would work it out and see if it equals.
9 plus. Did you hear our phone chiming?
Mm-hmm. Did you look it up?
Oh yeah, we've looked everywhere.
You looked in your car?
Baby, Brooklyn and James have gone to the car twice. Carter and Brooklyn have gone to the bathroom. I've been everywhere.
Think you left it at home?
No, I called Spradley this morning.
Mm-hmm. On your way there? In your backpack.
James says on the Find My Phone it's at school.
Is it on time? Oh, well, it would ping
It is.
anyway. But it would ping? Or y'all?
I think, does it ping if it's on silent? Yeah.
It's on this one.
That's why I came down here to see if y'all had heard anything, cause I'm trying to go everywhere I've been.
And you've been in there.
James is mad with me.
You've been in the lounge.
You better find it, I'm thinking, baby, I'm paying for all 4 of these iPhone 15s. Don't be telling me I better find it, I will cut you.
Did you look under your car?
Under my car, I did not.
In case it fell out or
I'll
like,
send somebody back down there.
or.
I got
it
Eddie
didn't
Pro
ping it.
Cell tear in my desk. James is in my room trying to ping it. But I know I brought it to school because I called Bradley this morning.
But you need to send somebody outside while he's.
And then I
doing that.
fell asleep in the car and I know it was right, I had put it right here.
It fell in the Bermuda Triangle. In that part,
I mean, just
in that
what I
part
did.
right between your seats and
Stacy
the console.
said-
I hate that.
Stacy says somebody better find that phone before she takes the fever.
It's right here. Okay. So then y'all, you would add these three numbers. I just multiplied, wrote it down. Are these three numbers gonna add to -7? No. So is that my answer? No. Then you would just keep going and you have to try all of them because there could be more than one. All right? So I'm not gonna finish it. I'm just trying to get y'all comfortable with the test. Okay. Let's see. I thought I had another. That might be all for that chapter. Let's look at the next one. Let me pause this. Which formula shows the length? Okay, how you can find the length. So instead of having P equals, what do they want us to have? Or, well, it's L. But yeah, I wouldn't have written mine like that either. But, so how would I get that letter by itself? Well, what do you do with that plus 2W? Subtract 2W. I know it's got a lot of variables, but you subtract it from both sides. So I have P minus 2W equals 2. I'm going to write my L's like that. Now, I still have to get L by itself. What's being multiplied to it? What's being multiplied to that L? 2. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 2? If I divide this side by 2, then I divide that side by 2. So which answer looks like that? B. Okay, so you'll probably have something like that on there. I've got another one written below it. Oh, no, I don't. That was something I did, not them. Okay. That might be all those. Isn't this fun? I'll pause it again.